feel like no matter what I do, the glare with my new glasses is just not great. Sorry about that, guys. Hey folks, my name is Jen, and today I am here to talk to you about the books that I am hoping to get to in May. So, my TBR for this coming month is basically a lot more ambitious than it has been. I'm thinking that I can get through a whole bunch of them. Folks, the reading slump is over. I have read a whole bunch of books in April, so I'm hoping that we're back on track to normal reading now, hopefully. So, because it is still spring, I'm very much in the mood for what I consider to be spring things, like romance or, you know, nature-y animal stuff, poetry, etc. So first up in my very specific, like, spring read picks is the Poems of Robert Burns. This is I think it's pretty much the full complete collection. I got this from one of my favorite secondhand shops last year. It's got all kinds of wonderful, like, little treasures in it so far. I found, like, a card and dried flowers and, like, a really nice note written in from you know, the people who originally owned this. So I don't know, I think it's a treasure already. I haven't read a lot of Robert Burns poems. I think I've read two. My Love is Like a Red, Red Rose, and I'm pretty sure there's like one other that I can't think of the title of, but I know I've read like one other of his poems. So I'm pretty excited to get into this actual collection and read more of his works. Just to let you know, I'm not really someone who reads poetry books slowly over time and like savor them. I'm someone that like goes through, like, slamming on through all of them and devouring them, usually in like one or two sittings. So but this is a lot of poems, and they're all, like, you know, they're old. So this might take me a little bit. Yeah, they're from like the 1700s, so I imagine this is going to take me longer than just one or two sittings, but we'll see. I'm excited to delve more into his poems. Along the lines of older writing, I have decided, you know, I wanted to tackle one of my classics this month. For a while I was thinking that I was going to do a reread of Anne of Green Gables this month, because I think April or May was when I picked it up. Last year was the first time I'd reread it since I was much younger. Really enjoyed it, but I think I'm going to do something a little bit different with that book. I think I'm actually going to save that for like September or October, and I'll read it then, and see if, you know, my experience with it differs as opposed to a spring read versus a fall read. But however, I did still want to read some kind of classic in May. I think I'm going to try to do that to get through like my classics and like more tougher, what I consider more tougher reads. I'm going to try to like put one per month maybe. So for this month I'm thinking that I want to read Just So Stories. This is a collection of children's stories by Rudyard Kipling. So these are all like how the whale got his throat, how the camel got his hump, how the rhinoceros, geez, got his skin. I don't know why I had such a hard time pronouncing that. So this is just like a thin little copy, and I figured with everything else I want to read this month, maybe this is my best bet, is to go for like a more chill classic this month. I mean, drawings are really creepy. So yeah, I have never read these before. I haven't really read that much of Rudyard Kipling in general. I've read a few of his poems. I have read Rikki Tikki Tavi. That was one of my favorite stories when I was little. So I have read those, but I've never read The Jungle Book, although I've seen like all of the movies. And I've never read like his children's stories. So I am pretty excited to actually sit down and read these. I think these are going to be like a nice little spring read to kind of savor them with a cup of tea with the windows open and the birds chirping and stuff like that. I think it'll be a nice experience to read this then. Along the lines of things technically for children, I have a couple more in here. For fantasy, I wanted to make sure that I read a fantasy this month, so I decided to go with The Foundling and Other Tales of Prydain by Lloyd Alexander. I read the Chronicles of Prydain series at the end of 2020 and the beginning of 2021 and just was blown away by how much I loved this series. It's fairly short. The books are not that big, but there's a lot in there. It's just so well written, and I really love Lloyd Alexander's writing. I love his letters. He always begins the books with, an author's note, and I love he seems like he was such an awesome guy. Like, such a nice person that you could, like, sit down and talk about stuff with over a coffee or something, and he's just such a chill, wonderful person. So, like, I don't know, I really like this series, and I was glad to find this collection. It's much shorter than I thought it was going to be, but it's just like extra little stories about the world of Prydain, so I'm happy to kind of delve into this world again, and I don't know, maybe this will make me want to reread the series again this year. I don't know, we'll see. For other books, like I said, that springtime makes me think of like romance novels and things like that, so I wanted, I have a couple of romance novels. Let me see, at this point I think I've got like 5 or 6 that are technically unread, but the ones I wanted to get to the most right now are books A Hope Divided and An Unconditional Freedom by Alyssa Cole. These are books 2 and 3 in, I believe it is the Loyal League series, I think that's what it's called. These are historical romances set during the Civil War. I read An Extraordinary Union in February? Yeah, I think it was February, and I really loved it. So yeah, I want to get to these other 2 books. I'm hoping to definitely get to at least this one, but I would like to finish out this series. Then I've got, well, first of all, I also have a goal to at least try to finish at least one of the unfinished books on my nightstand. My nightstand at this point is basically overflowing with books that I got part of the way through and did not finish. I also have some of them on my shelves, things that I went part of the way through and just put them back. So I'm making it kind of a goal to tackle one of those per month and just get through these things. So I'm thinking that the one I want to put a focus on actually finishing in May is The House of the Chicken Legs by Sophie Anderson. I don't know why I got stuck in this, but I did. It is just a thin little fantasy novel about a little girl who all she wants is a friend, but instead of a friend she's got like the House of the Chicken Legs because her grandmother's a Baba Yaga. This feels more like an October read, I guess, but I'm hoping that I'll still be in the fantasy mood after reading The Foundling, that maybe I'll want to dive into this and actually finish it. It's not that long, so I don't think it should be that much of a struggle, really, but yeah, hoping to get to this. And then I've got some mysteries. So I kind of wanted some like thinner mysteries, some light little things to get through. I do have Maureen Johnson's latest, Stevie Bell, but I know that that takes place at like a summer camp in Pennsylvania, so I was thinking of leaving that for June or July, because summer camp. So I wanted some kind of mystery though, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to get to the two Nancy Drews that I got last year. So it's The Secret of the Golden Pavilion, where Nancy and co go to Hawaii, I believe. I think this might have been before Hawaii was a state. Or maybe, no, it's 1959, so that's like the year it became a state, right? Or no, it became a state in 1950. I should know this, but I forgot. Anyway, they're going to be in Hawaii, and then The Mystery of the Fire Dragon, which I don't know if this takes place in China or if it takes place in New York's Chinatown. Not 100% sure. But, yeah. So, these are two of the Nancy Drew mysteries. So, hoping to get to those. Then the last book I am hoping to get to this month, and this one I think is mostly tentative because it's a little bit thick, but I'm kind of in the mood to read it. My husband and I recently watched 12 Angry Men. It was his first time watching, and my, like, I don't know, third, fourth viewing of it. I absolutely love that movie. It's fantastic. I think it's one of the best movies that's ever been made. It's just, oh, it's so good. But the original one with Henry Fonda. I haven't seen the one from the 90s, but I mean, so I can't really judge, because maybe that one's really good too. But I don't know, I'm like an OG person. But anyway, in light of that, I kind of wanted to delve into courtroom dramas, and what is a better courtroom drama to dive into than The Runaway Jury by John Grisham. I read this in high school, and I remember absolutely adoring it, so, and really liking the movie too. I don't know how I feel about the movie now, but yeah, I loved this as a teenager. So I borrowed this from my dad. I'm hoping to get to this, and we'll see how I feel about it now as an adult. I barely remember anything about this other than the fact that I was fucking blown away by it. I don't know how to explain it other than to read the back of it to you so you get it. The center of a multi-million-dollar legal hurricane, 12 men and women who have been investigated, watched, manipulated, and harassed by high-priced lawyers and consultants who will stop at nothing to secure a verdict. Which is stuff that happens, I'm fairly certain, in real life. The jury must make a decision in the most explosive civil trial of the century, a precedent-setting lawsuit against a giant tobacco company. But only a handful of people know the truth, that this jury has a leader and the verdict belongs to him. He is known as Juror Number 2. But he has a name and a past, and he has planned his every move with the help of a beautiful woman on the outside. Now, while a corporate empire hangs in the balance, while a grieving family waits, and while lawyers are plunged into a battle for their careers, the truth about Juror 2 is about to explode in a crossfire of greed and corruption, with justice fighting for its life. If you think the courtroom dramas are really boring, you haven't met John Grisham yet. Yeah, this is like, yeah, I remember this just being amazing. So, yeah, excited to read this again and see if my feelings about this are the same as they were when I was like, I don't know, how old was I? 16, 17 when I read this? Yeah, we'll see. This deck is everything that I'm hoping to get to in May. I think this is going to give me some good variety, so hopefully I'll remain out of a reading slump, and I don't know, I'm hoping to get to all of these, but if I find some interest in like a certain genre, I might branch off and just continue reading in that genre. Maybe. We'll see. That's my stack for May. I'm hoping to have a really good time reading. I'm really excited to get to all of these. I hope that you guys have, you know, picked out your books and are excited about them if you are someone who does TBRs. I hope you're having a good reading month so far and a good week in general. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!